What is up, Bears fans? Carmen and I are both here on our YouTube page. It's brought to you by Dr. Pepper, and I believe there are other places you can watch this, Carm. I think on Twitter you can watch it, and elsewhere. Do you know where else you can watch this?
I have no idea. YouTube, Twitch.
It's on our Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter.
There's
There
Eric.
you go.
Eric Ostrowski. And episode 3 is in the books. I want to see if we have the same thoughts on us. I tweeted a few comments during the show, Carm, and then we'll have people join in once they hop in. I've got the comments up too, so I could read everyone's comments as they come up. I thought it was way better. I thought they hit too. Yeah, I thought they hit more of the important notes, and they weren't trying as hard to uncover some of the lesser known stories. And as they say in our business, they played the hits. And I thought it was a heavy Caleb episode, and that's what camp has been. And this was a heavy Caleb game. So I thought they did a really good job, especially when you compare it with episodes 1 and 2.
I thought episode 2 was downright awful. This one was much better. So the bar, I mean, they had only, the only place to go, I guess, was up. But I'm with you. It was much more, we're football geeks, all right? So if you are, I think it was right up your alley from the get-go. Matt Eberflus sitting in his office with his young quarterback, talking about plays and what did Caleb see, and okay, they went from middle close to 2-man, and that's, like all these things that are geeky football stuff. I like that. I mean, quite frankly, that's kind of why I'm tuning in. That's always sort of been to me like the point of Hard Knocks. Take us behind the scenes. Take us inside. The stuff with Poles going after Judon
that was great.
Was great.
By the way, Waddle's in the chat now too. Waddle, I texted you guys in our show text chain, and I don't think that's really uncovered. From what I understood, the way it was covered in the episode, it sure seemed like Poles wanted to give up the 3rd round pick and Atlanta accepted it, but they wanted Judon to accept their extension.
Right.
It wasn't about Judon wanting the extension. Judon didn't want to accept their extension. So it sort of was different than the way everyone interpreted it. The Bears didn't want to give up just a 3rd round pick for a rent-a-player for 1 year. Is that the way you guys read it?
That's the way I read it, that they were, they offered a number. They probably weren't going to budge off of that, but that's what it was. When he said no, he chose Atlanta instead. And then it was rationalized by one of his guys as, okay, we missed out on this, but we traded a 4th to get 4 years of Austin Booker instead of a 3rd to get 1 year of Judon. That's the way I took it.
Yeah,
so a little bit different than the way it had been reported, right, guys? But that was good. I'm glad that they kept all that in there. I thought that stuff was revealing.
I thought it was another example of, we talked about this of, Ryan Poles having discipline. Like, I'm going to go to here, but I'm not going to go beyond. And
right.
I think that's the way you have to be. And I think it's one of the reasons why this team still has a lot of cap space and they've got all the full complement of their draft picks. So, and that's why I think what we learned, a couple of days later when Scott Pioli was in town and he talked about going through the whole process or being there when the process happened. At the end of the day, I think what Scott Pioli's, words were, it came down to money and the Bears just didn't want to, it didn't work for them on that front.
I'll say real quick one more thing too, just like how Waddle put it, and you've always said that about like what you like about how he's, sort of sticking to his plan and not deviating too much. Good for him. Like he said, boy, we're going to feel dumb if he has 20 sacks, but listen, stick to that process. If you feel like it's right, he's 32 coming off of torn biceps. Like you wanted him, you've got a need, and it just goes to show the need they have there, that they're offering a 3rd round pick and an extension. They obviously have a need, but not to overdo it and just to have we're going to stay in this lane and that's the way it is. I don't mind that. Yeah, if he has 20 sacks, it's going to look bad. Fine. But I don't mind their process, which I think.
What we've set up, what we used to say with previous regimes was it doesn't make sense. I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing. And now it does all make sense. And there's a method behind everything they're doing. And, will they all the decisions work out? No, nobody hits 100%. But the reality is they've got a game plan. They're sticking to it, and they've had more hits than misses. And I thought by far this was the best episode for a number of reasons. But this was one of the episodes. This was an episode that I kind of found. The last two, I sat on my couch and didn't really feel much. This one, I got a little jazzed up, a little pumped.
Me too. And Meller and Cap have joined, and that's how we started. I thought that this one by far was better than 1 and 2 combined. And one more note before I bring Cap and Meller in, that I commend the Bears because we've beaten them up pretty good about the sanitized version of Hard Knocks that we think, and Carm, you had Eberflus on, and he talked about how he watches it, and he's part of the editorial process. The producer-director told us Kevin Warren, Poles, Eberflus, they're all part of the editorial process. I'm happy the Bears kept the whole Matthew Judon conversation in there, and they brought us a window into what really happened. They could have easily scrubbed all that and just said, hey, we didn't get Matthew Judon. He elected to go to Atlanta. But we really learned something as Bears fans, and the NFL learned something as to why Matthew Judon ended up in Atlanta and not in Chicago.
Yeah. You know what else was cool, Sylvie? You talked about sanitizing. When Shane Waldron was talking to the team at halftime, they blurred out all the plays up on the whiteboard next to him.
That's not a shot.
That's smart.
Yeah,
that's smart.
Yeah, that's attention to detail. I thought this was by far the best of the 3 episodes. Loved it. Loved it.
What about you, Meller?
I mean, you guys hit, the Judon thing. That was probably the newsiest stuff we got out of it. But I thought, too, it was interesting. We got just the slightest bit on the stadium planning going on, right? Like, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see a little more of that as the episodes continue. But they let us, give us a little bit on that, which was interesting. I actually was curious to see a little bit more of what was kind of going on in that meeting as they're, just trying to figure out whether it's, suites for future stadium plans. You wonder if that's only based on a new stadium plan at Soldier, or is that, hey, this could double as whatever we're trying to do, in whether it be in Soldier or if it ends up in Arlington Heights. So that actually is a storyline that I am not necessarily wanting because we don't know the gist of it, but getting those little details actually made me a little more interested about that in the future. So I'll be curious to see if we get some of that.
Carm, I'm shocked that Meller, while trying to put a belt around himself while the punter story was unfolding, as he was able to even watch that.
Well, Waddle, why do you think I was late? Obviously, I had to rewind the Tory Taylor scenes and just give it a double look. And obviously, how about those holds in the rain, my friend?
I mean,
Jesus.
We're like, what a hold. What a hold. Fan-fucking-tastic. I tell you, that Tory Taylor really knows how to hold a football.
Do you think the director told him to say that, Carm, like for the episode?
What? Say what?
Say good hold to make it a part of the script?
It was just to piss off Carmen and Yurko.
Just for you boys. Can you read the shirt?
What does it say?
Punting is winning.
Yeah.
There you go. Just for you boys.
Unbelievable.
That is a P, right? It says punting.
I think it says punting. Yeah.
I'll say this too, guys. Like, and again, I don't know what it means, but I'm finding as time goes on that I'm more of a believer in Matt Eberflus and his system.
Yeah.
His connection with his team and the method to what he's trying to get stuff done. It's the more you get inside and you get to see some of it, the more I'm starting to believe that, he's got something there.
That's what we were hoping for, Waddle, is to, again, when I always tell the story about Dan Campbell 2 years ago. Everyone thought that Dan Campbell was just some meathead cliche guy. But when you watched Hard Knocks, it gave you a picture that he was more than that. And maybe we're seeing that Matt Eberflus is more than a robot. And he I love the hands-on approach with him and Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I know.
Cap's talked about this a lot, that, you know, you talking to players, you know, there's a firm appreciation for him as their coach.
Yeah, I did an event with Mercedes Lewis and Kevin Byard, and Mercedes said, you guys have no idea how he holds us accountable and how much we love playing for this dude. He said, we laugh. Everybody thinks he's going to get fired. He goes, there was no chance.
Cap, I did a we had Khalil Herbert on the Sportscaster and Son podcast, and I asked him, I was like, can you explain the whole Matt Eberflus thing? Because I don't think we all get it. And like, why do you guys love him? He said his energy is so infectious. You just want to play for the guy. And like, we all just took it as a nerdy thing the last 2 years. And now I think this year we're really kind of seeing behind the scenes. He's not nerdy behind the scenes. He really holds them accountable. He's one-on-one with these guys. He's a teacher. He is a teacher.
But I loved during when he said, if anyone here fights, you will be gone. You will be back in the building. I will not tolerate. Like, he's not afraid to lay the law down.
Jesse, what are you doing at the Cubs game, Jordan?
Really? I mean,
Still alive, Sylvie. We're winning again.
Trying not to be bored by bad baseball. Wait, Javi may have just struck out again. No, that's just 3 times tonight. Just 3.
That was my bet was the Carm wanted to bet on a home run. I wanted to bet on the golden sombrero tonight.
Thank God I have HBO Max, because I kind of, gravitated towards football about halfway through this game. But I got to tell you, one thing that stands out to me, and being a reporter and going in these locker rooms, Javi Baez is a great example, is personality. And I got to tell you, this Bears team is starting to show me something. The punter Taylor, the whole Australian thing. I'm starting to be a big. I'm
what's
starting
the
to be
whole
a big
Australian thing? That he's
I'm
from
just saying.
Australia?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a little different personality. Bajent is like growing on me in a big way. I think it's just a great personality team all of a sudden.
He wanted nothing to do with the Australian story.
Nothing.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But Bajent's great. You saw Bajent, like, they love Bajent. Poles is a proud, like, the Matt Ryan Poles situation. And I've been telling people on the air, Ryan Poles is like Jerry Krause when Jerry Krause would go to Europe and find a player. That's the way they feel about Bajent. I'm telling you guys.
He's Tony Kukoc.
Yes.
The personality that Bajent was showing in this episode too. Listen, there's no secrets in the NFL, but I know Cap was mentioning it the other day on the show. He's one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the league. I wouldn't go that far necessarily, but at the same point, it wouldn't be shocking if a year from now we see a quarterback needy team, Bajent caught their eye because he looks like a good, personable dude, a guy you want in your locker room. And it wouldn't be surprising at all if everything goes well for him in the rookie year, if the Bears find themselves in the enviable situation that we've seen the Packers in year after year after year, where a team comes calling and they're interested in your backup quarterback. You could see it unfolding right now. Would not be shocking at all next year if come off-season time, some team is enamored with Tyson Bajent and giving him a full-time shot.
Especially if he has to play a couple of games again and plays well. I don't think it's crazy at all, Miller. I think absolutely. And chances are, let's face it, guys, he'll probably, you hate to say it, but, probably this day and age, the way it goes, you probably play a game or two. And if it puts more good tape out there, I think you're right.
I loved how he was like, listen, I'm not just here as like a placeholder. I'm not just here as a camp, head here at camp. I'm here because I want to turn heads. Like, he knows he's trying to play for a job. But the dude got 81 tickets for a preseason
$8 grand
and $100.
$8 grand, Peg.
I mean, listen though, like this is the game he's gonna play. Like, this is the game he's going to play. So his family's like, well, we're gonna see him for probably 2 years.
What's he making? What's he making this year?
What's the minimum?
I don't know. We can look that up.
He signed a 3-year deal, so it's got to be, I don't know, $800-900 grand.
Oh, I don't think it's that much.
$900 grand.
I don't.
2.7. 2.7.
3 years, $2.7 million.
2.7. I just looked it up. The contract runs through 2025. 906,000 a year.
Cappy was right on the average, 900 grand.
Well, and remember too, he was a priority free agent. It actually worked in his favor that he did not get drafted because of that.
Right.
That's probably why he was able to secure that deal from the Bears.
All right, and you heard his signing bonus. He said last week when he had to sing, or when he was up there, he said $25K.
Yeah.
And
25K.
Austin Reed said tonight his signing
Five.
bonus was 5K.
5K.
Hey, still much.
That's not so bad then. He's making 900 grand this year. That's all right. He can drop 8,000.
Still too fucking much Austin Reed. Still too much Reed.
The performance was good, Ballard.
It was, but come
on.
We've already seen too much of Austin Reed, and now we got they had so much going on in this episode. We did not need any. You're right, Sylvie. It was a good performance.
Meller, he might make the team at least as the third guy.
No way. There's no way Brett Rippon.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
I think Rippon.
They didn't bring Rippon in. Who knows?
Rippon's going to get picked up by somebody else. He's going to get picked up by another team.
Oh, so you think Reed will make it over Rippon?
I think Rippon's going to get picked up by another team.
I think they might.
Really?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they keep Rippon?
They might carry Rippon on the.
Not if they cut him.
They might go with 3 guys.
I mean, not if they keep him.
Yeah, you keep 3, right?
Yeah,
you keep 3 this year. New rule.
Yeah, you can keep 3.
I got to tell you guys too, like for the first time in so long, it feels like our favorite football team is being run professionally.
Yes.
Like everything that they do, like you even, and I know, listen, some of it's staged obviously for Hard Knocks, but the Bears, he's got a folder on the Matthew Judon, kind of presentation, like why he's the right guy. He talks about, yes, he's 32, he's coming off an injury, but it's an upper body injury. It's a pec. It's not a lower body injury. Like everything they're doing is done with well thought out process. And it's just so refreshing to see shit going on where you're confident is how they're going about doing things. It makes sense. Where it gets them, I don't know, but I feel like they're in much better shape on so many fronts than they have been in years.
Highly recommend Dr. Pepper Coconut, 0 sugar. Coconut.
I think he was presenting Kevin Warren with pass rush win rate stats, wasn't he?
Yes.
I think he was. I like that.
Yeah.
My favorite part about like hearing Ryan go out there and him talking about, whether they wanted to go out and get Judon or not was he's like, listen, you would love to have the guy, but we got to bring him in on our terms. And I feel like the part that the Bears have never done is bring people in on their terms. It's like, listen, you're a great player. We need players over here. You might as well come over and we'll figure it out once it's done. But Ryan Poles is like, listen, I'm willing to deviate from what the plan is, but you're going to give and take a little bit here so that we can stay on track. And, when you find out that, the money wasn't right for Judon coming here, you would assume that Ryan Poles is like, I'm not hamstringing the organization to keep you here just in case you're still the Matt Judon that we remember, even though you're 32 years old now.
You know what was interesting about that, Pat? I found interesting was that his assistant said, hey, but we gave up a 4th for Austin Booker.
It tells you what they think about him.
Like you stop, but it also tells you that it's like, oh yeah, wait a second. Let's do an end around here and take a look at. We were willing to get back into the draft for a 4th rounder for Austin Booker, and it's like, what's your value, Austin Booker for in another year, or getting Matthew G? Or getting Judon now.
Right.
But
I loved that we got inside their negotiating heads and what was the value of both of those moves.
Peggy, you know what else was cool when they had 5 or 6 different front office guys all on the phone till Jeff King goes, "We're good." Yeah,
yes.
Super cool.
I think it also says a lot about their comfort level with who they are and their confidence in themselves that they let you inside for all that shit.
Come on, Smiley, make a pitch.
But you
know what I mean?
Don't act for the camera. You cannot be on the edge of your seat for this fucking Cubs team.
Tying runs at the plate.
Jesse, who cares? Jesse's at the game and he doesn't even care as much as you.
Tommy, you know what? That
just threw it to fucking center field.
Someone mute him.
Thanks, Kev.
We're talking about a good team here, or at least what we hope to be a good team.
Tommy, your point though, I'm
Strikeout.
totally with you on that with Ryan Poles because, I don't know that 2 years ago Ryan Poles would have been confident enough
Totally.
to let people understand like his thought process. And the fact that they watched that, and I heard with Carmen and Yurko when Flus said that he sits also in on that final edit process as well. The fact that they allow that shows you how confident they are in their process now, 3 years into it. And I think that's a huge sign that they are very confident.
Peg, you remember and I don't know how connected it is or what you should think about it. You remember the picture of Ryan Pace kind of creeping around the corner?
Yeah.
Creepy picture. Like they thought they were keeping national secrets. Like,
oh yeah.
They would have never been comfortable in their own skin between Nagy and Pace to allow you into their environment and for you to be a voyeur watching them do their jobs. There's no chance that the previous staff would have felt comfortable enough.
Remember the press conference where Ted said, we got the quarterback right, no, everything. And then they asked Pace questions like, if it was Sylvie, Mark, thanks for the question, and he would not answer it. He wouldn't answer anything.
No.
The old word salad back in the day.
Yeah, there's just a self-awareness with Poles too. Just even that throwaway line when he said, "If Judon gets 20 sacks, I'm going to regret it." But you know what? It's an inexact science. Maybe he will regret it, but he won't lose his confidence about it. There's something about it. He's just so comfortable.
Jesse, it's a good point because you see him going through the emotional process of wanting him, not getting him, trying to rationalize, but him still knowing that he really, really wanted it.
Yeah.
But he stayed in his lane. 2 things, guys. We buried 2 leads. Number 1, Barstool Big Cat, no one mentioned. What the fuck did he get featured? And then number 2, I love how the Bears made it look like the Caleb Williams struggled all because of the bad helmet.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the bad helmet was really a thing. Yeah. I think that may have been dubbed in there just to make Caleb look better.
There's no way that helmet was that big a deal.
Totally.
Actually, I thought the good thing came from it is it showed you that he wasn't lost out there, even though he wasn't connecting with Shane Waldron. What he was doing was...
he said he was piecing it together.
Yes, he was waving them off and said, look, I got this. Like, that kid is so fucking mature.
What would Jay have done? Waddle, what would Jay have done?
MFing him.
Jay would have turned around and motherfucked everybody on the sideline and then probably taken his helmet off and thrown it in the stands.
Tommy, how about when Caleb turned to the referee, goes, "That was pretty sweet, ref, wasn't it?"
Yeah.
I did like that.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he's so mature.
That was very Patrick Mahomes-like.
It tells you that how much he's been in the playbook and how much he's really learned here, where I'm getting like bits and pieces of this, and we can figure out the rest of it out there. And I'm like, he did struggle through it. I did like that, Sylvia. I'm not gonna lie. I was sitting there, I was like, because the first part of me was literally like, oh, so that's why he struggled. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on now.
Yeah.
Hold on. Is this to try and make him look a little better? I wouldn't be surprised.
The referee thing was the coolest.
There's going to be a full year worth of making excuses for every little mistake he makes, and you're going to have to come up with a lot of them because as a rookie, he's going to make mistakes. But that kid's so mature, it's crazy.
To that point, though, Waddle, this one thing that was going through my head as I was watching this was, the Bears, I'm sure this is absolutely the best that George McCaskey could have hoped for because they have faced so little adversity this offseason, this training camp. And listen, as a Bears fan, I love it. If you've said this before in the past, Waddle, I don't care if you can get to the Super Bowl, if it's because everybody else in your way got injured and you were just fortunate enough, so be it. But watching this episode and everything that stood out is they have been, they have absolutely been they've been blessed with the fact that they haven't had a lot of adversity this offseason.
I will say this as well, and I've said this a bunch, and I don't mean it as a criticism, and Sylvie can attest to this. I've said this forever. Even the great 49ers teams in the Joe Montana era, to win a championship regardless of sport, you have to have good fortune. You have to be really good at your job across the board, but you have to have good fortune. and to itemize all of the things that have gone their way, it would take you 20 minutes to put into line all of the good things that have happened to them. But that will only take you so far. Once all that good fortune occurs, now you have to develop all these guys. And, you know, it's been fun to watch Ryan Poles do his thing. It's been fun to watch them make the right decisions. It's been fun to watch shit that you never thought would be possible happen, like the Texans actually beating the Colts in that instance, like the Carolina Panthers shitting their pants the entire season and making the wrong decision at quarterback. Like, at the end of the day, you got to have some good fortune. They've had it, but they've made a lot of good decisions on that.
We're due for some good fortune. Like, we picked the one of the three guys, the other two who turned out well, in Watson and Mahomes, and we took Trubisky. Well, Cody Parkey double doinking the field goal. You know, when Jay Cutler's playing his best football, he breaks his thumb. Or in the NFC Championship game, he sprains his MCL, grade 2. Like, Waddle, we're due some fucking good luck.
Yep.
Yeah, you got David Greenwood at your fucking Little League thing, and ended up we got Michael Jordan. I heard that today. That was great.
Yeah, but that was 40 plus years ago, so we're due.
No, for sure. I think even to that though, right? Like, just seeing the difference from Ryan Pace to Ryan Poles. Ryan Pace, who just got promoted again. So you know, Atlanta, be careful. I'm telling you right now. But I think, right, like, Ryan Pace was a guy who was willing to trade multiple draft picks to go up and take a chance on Mitch Trubisky, right? He was the guy that was like, I got to swing for – he was the swing for the fences guy. I'm swinging out of my shoes. Javi Baez is back in Chicago. He's swinging it for the fences. He's trying to knock it out of the park every time the ball comes his way, right? That's how Ryan Pace was. Ryan Poles is more like, listen, I'm going to work the count a little bit. I'm going to try and hit a home run, but at the same time, if I hit a double off of the fence – that's not a bad thing either, because it's putting the team in the right position. And I think that, like, just seeing the Judon stuff, seeing him go after Caleb, seeing him how he was willing to make deals last year and get on the right side of it with the Panthers. It's all very, like, there is a part of it that's fortune. You know, getting the first overall pick again is very fortunate, but there's a major part of it where you're just like, the strategy of this guy, how he's able to piece it all together and then say, I'm willing to, like, take this side street to get there, but I'm not leaving the main road.
I want to bring up something. Like, you guys, I am so intrigued by Flus being so hands-on with Caleb. Like, these meetings with him, this is not just for the cameras, where he's really wants to know, what are you seeing here? What did you see there? I'm, like, blown away how hands-on. Did we ever, like, see Matt Eberflus as being a quarterback developer? He's a defensive guy. Like, I'm really intrigued by his meetings with Caleb.
I think some of these
back to what Saban said to him. Ask him what he sees and stand behind him.
But it's more than that. He's breaking down every single play with him. Like, I find it fascinating.
I think today was a little less staged. Today's meeting felt like an actual football meeting. When you watched them in 1 and 2, to me, it was just like, man, we got to get after it, don't we? Yeah, we're going to get after it. Don't you worry about it. You're going to get it. All right, let's have a day. All right, let's have a day. And then it just, like, cut to the field and be like, all right, well, who's having that conversation?
In this day and age, though, too, don't forget Tom Brady and Bill Belichick would meet weekly. And it would be like the most intense meetings that Brady would have. Yeah. And Belichick, famously one of the best defensive coordinators ever to, you know, be in the game, and yet he obviously understands offense too. So I'm happy to see that Matt Eberflus is asking him, hey, and you could see it too in that meeting, him quizzing him. All right, what do you see here? What are you thinking pre-snap? Right. What do you think you're going to see? And then before he even rolls the tape, he's like, so what did they do? And I've seen Caleb do this on the podium too, where, you know, he hasn't, it's not show-offy either. You know, sometimes when LeBron would go through his Rolodex of what happened on a play, people on social media are just like, oh my God, I can't believe he's doing this. Other people are like, it's all for show. It's cool to see the quarterback of your favorite team accessing that in his mind and having that ability, which, listen, I'm sorry to say, I don't believe Justin Fields has that. So I'm happy to see where we're at right now.
I will tell you this from 25 years of covering sports in Chicago, from Michael Jordan on. The best are able to break down every play that happened in a game they just finished, and it's shocking. Like, right, Sylvie? Like, you're in the post game asking them, and you're like, how are they going to remember all the specifics of a play? The very best are able to break down everything that happened in that play immediately when the horn goes off and the game is over. That's a real special.
I don't think it's that shocking at all. I think
you don't.
No,
I think it's very special.
Yurko can rip off plays and moments from games 35 years ago. I don't think it's shocking at all.
McVay remembers every play of his career.
Yeah, I don't.
But that's why they're special, Carmen. That's why they're special.
Well,
that's the difference between us sitting here.
Pro athletes are special for a lot of reasons. You have to have a lot of talent. You have to have work ethic. I mean, you have to have a lot of things. So yeah, but I don't think it's anything abnormal. I think most guys could tell you.
Wait, Carm, wait till Nicky Lopez breaks down this White Sox game after this one.
That'll be tomorrow on a special
20 years
podcast we do.
Carmen, I disagree. I've sat in locker rooms after games and asked players and players who cannot recall a play and break it down.
Really?
Not everyone is. Yes, not everyone is able to do
Peggy,
it.
we've covered a lot of bad players too. So
yeah, that could be it.
And I do think that's the good player gene. Can I go a little though? I don't know if you guys saw this. I think there's some douchey people who tweeted about Lil Durk and Caleb. There was a conspiracy theory out there that they were holding hands. That was dispelled tonight. I don't know if any one of you guys caught this.
What are you talking about? What was that?
You didn't see this?
Yeah, that was on Twitter that it was holding hands. Yeah.
So people thought, and it's fueled by the idiots on Twitter. I think one of them was Antonio. Did AB tweet about it? I think.
Oh, what is his little Twitter page?
It's terrible.
ESPN.
By the way,
whatever. So it looked like there were some angles where it looked like when they were posing together that they were holding hands.
Yeah.
You got the view today, and even my wife fell for it. You got the view today where he was holding his sunglasses in his hand. They were not holding hands during the picture.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares?
Bingo.
Look, I'm with you. But
shut the fuck up.
But
thank you, Carmen.
In today's day and age, when people are asking about the fingernails, which I don't give a shit about, or the man bags, I don't care about.
Man bags.
Hey, listen, LeBron carries a man bag. I'll tell you this right now. If he ends up being like LeBron, man bag it up, dog.
Yeah.
Waddle, Javi just struck out for the 4th time to end the game.
Fuck, Waddle, we should have bait that bet, Waddle.
I'm telling you. The sombrero.
I wasted $20 on the home run prop, Tommy.
Cubs win. Take that.
I feel bad for him.
Why?
He's making
feel bad for Javi.
I know, but he
guy can't play baseball.
How much is Javi making this year?
25 million a year, right, Jess?
Yeah.
20 mil a year.
And
he might become the first player to get DFA'd with 3 years left on his contract.
He's got 3 years left.
There's a really good chance that he gets booted.
3 years left and $73 million more coming.
Yeah.
It's
Why
not like
Shay's video, Carmen.
Did somebody call fucking Danny and have him DFA me for $73 million?
I wish. If you want to give me $70 million and tell me I suck and to go, do it. Right now. Let's go.
Did you see,
I'd like
Norland's video?
The what?
Shay's video that he posted?
No.
That idiot's at the game. When they introduced Javi, he gets an ovation. Shay's booing him, calling him a loser.
Shea Norling?
Yeah. I'm like, loser.
But Shay's
guy was second in the MVP, won the World Series, and he's going to make $200 and some million in his life.
But
I'm looking forward to the
fan.
fight.
Shay's not a Cup fan.
No, he's a Tigers fan. That's why he's booing by it.
That's why he's booing him.
Yeah.
Why is that shocking?
Because he's got him for 3 more years.
Calling him a loser is a little strong.
See you guys. I'm headed down.
Bye, Jesse.
Later, Jess.
Hi, Jesse.
Think about it.
Carm, was there a prop bet for a golden sombrero?
Don't know. I doubt it. I don't know. I don't know that they offer those. I don't know.
That would have been awesome if you'd bet it.
We talked about it today with Carm.
Waddle said it because I put a little. We said let's put 9-1. Why not?
Oh, Carm just said goodbye.
The Javi committee got him out of there. Oh, Carm's back.
Carm's back.
Oh, I'm here. Sorry.
What happened, Carm?
Hey, Sylvie, can we go back? I know you guys want to talk more about baseball and Javi.
I'm not.
I don't.
Boring.
Not really.
Becky doesn't even have a Bears jersey hanging up behind her, though.
I don't. I know. But
The Hawks jersey.
so Sylvie, you know what's interesting in bringing up this stuff on social media? Did you guys see the stuff about Keenan Allen and everyone saying that he's fat and out of shape?
Yeah, that he looks slow.
What? What's going on here? Where's all this coming from?
First of all, it's training camp and it's the exhibition season for a guy that's been in the league 11 years.
So
and has Keenan Allen ever been fast?
No.
No.
Calling somebody
Keenan
fat
Allen has
who's
never
playing in
been
the
fast.
National Football League
Right.
is like sitting on the couch judging the 40 times and going, 4.5, nah, he's slow, I can't do it.
Well, I mean, listen.
But I mean, it's all
Well,
over.
wait.
It's like,
Here, no,
it's bad.
Cap. Next time you have Albert Breer on, you have to ask him because this is where it started from. In Albert Breer's column, he had just a little note about all the weapons, and he was just basically, I think he was actually trying to do it complimentary, but he was just listing off like the weapons at Caleb's disposal, and he mentioned like the big receivers he had, and then he listed Keenan Allen at 230. In the past, when he was on the Chargers, Keenan Allen's been listed at somewhere around like 212, 215, and so that's basically where it came from. Albert Breer's column mentioning him being 230. Whether or not he actually is, I don't know. I haven't looked at what the Bears list him at. But so it's like a 15-pound difference between what the Chargers listed him at. But you guys know, media guide weights are you could take them with a grain of salt.
Listen, and let's if we get to week 5 and you're looking at the all 22 and it's like, all right, something's off here. Let's talk about it, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's like it's a guy who's a well-established veteran in the exhibition season. I don't want to say he's going through the motions, but like a guy that kind of knows how to be ready, that always has shown you he's been ready to answer the bell. I know he's had some injuries, but like when Keenan Allen's played, he's been good. He's never been fast. He's never been like a dominant one-on-one outside man beater. That's not what he is. Monster. I mean, know what he is. I think they brought him here to alleviate a little pressure from Caleb and say, hey, here's your zone beater when you do need him. This is the guy you're going to look to. I mean, like, let's know what Keenan Allen is. Keenan Allen's not Justin Jefferson. Never has been, never will be.
He's just a beast.
I'll tell you this, as somebody who's been up there.
Carm, to support where he's at in terms of mentally and his he's at practice every day. I have not seen him sit out of practice, which if he's quote fat and happy, and I'm not saying anyone's suggesting he is, he's going to sit out a few days, but he's not that kind of guy. He's been out there every single day.
Today he caught, I think he caught, Pat, didn't he catch a 4th down play to end practice for a touchdown?
And he caught 3 yesterday, Sylvie.
I'll tell you this, as somebody who has seen him every day, over the last couple of days, you can tell that Flus came to him and said, hey guys, you're not playing against Kansas City. This is it. And Keenan Allen said, okay, now it's time for me to get this real work in. Not to say he hasn't been working the entire time, but if we're being 100% honest, he's got 22 days until the start of the season. So he's got 3 weeks to get himself in whatever shape people feel he needs to be. And the first couple of days of him literally going, all right, I'm not playing, bet, let's get some work in. He's got a 3-touchdown day. He had a 2-touchdown day today, and he's killing everybody on the other side of him. I'm not worried about Keenan Allen. And you've seen the relationship with him and Caleb grow day over day as they've been out there. And it is him being the 3rd down safety blanket. It is him being the zone killer. And I don't think that Keenan Allen has had a bad training camp. Like I was seeing that. It was like he's really struggled at training camp. It was like, no, he hasn't. Not at all. Like, what are you seeing? Because I've seen a guy who's going out there. I was standing next to Sylvie. We saw him catch a pass in the corner of the end zone. He's making practice harder on himself. to make it more so that he can get that work in, so that during the game, right, he's adjusting to a pass in the air that he could have just caught regularly. And it's just like, what are you adjusting to it for? Well, when somebody's in the game and they try to push him out of bounds, he can still land his feet in. Like, Keenan Allen is the ultimate professional. Seeing any slander on him is the biggest joke that I've seen on the internet. Bigger than the Caleb Williams, Lil Durk stuff.
I would like a little more on Keenan Allen for the next episode. We asked for a few things in this episode, and they delivered. I want more on Keenan Allen. I want more on Rome. Like, they showed Rome highlights, but have we heard anything from Rome Doomsday, their number 9 overall pick?
A little bit.
Entire 3 episodes.
His mom. We heard from his mom.
First of all, can you guys welcome Peter Brady in from the bottom right-hand corner of the podium?
Oh, there he is.
The party has started.
All right, I got to go let my dogs out. So you guys have fun and gals.
Sounds good.
Rome was on.
I think we should just warn Yurko that I'm wearing my saddle shoes and I have my pom-poms because he thinks I'm a freaking cheerleader for Caleb. I'm sorry I don't have my Bobby socks and my saddle shoes on, Yerk.
I'm telling you.
What
Did
are
you give him an A+? Did you give him an A+?
No, I didn't give him an A+.
Triple A+.
You were being an asswipe. Stop being an asswipe.
Give it to
Seriously.
Give it to him.
Like, it's okay for people to say, hey, I like what I'm seeing out of the quarterback. This is good. I told you last week a B, and I had a B this week too, okay? Don't Bobby sock and saddles to me.
You sent me via the X, the Twitter, the Kyle Brandt footage where Kyle Brandt was doing what he was doing, like he was going to legitimize something or not legitimize something.
I get it.
Ultimate meathead on his show.
Yes, he did.
Chicago Bears. He did. He went
hear you.
Meathead. That's the last thing I want to see. I want to see legitimate commentary about the Chicago Bears, not Kyle Brandt doing an act so he can entertain the audience. That doesn't do a thing for me.
Yerk, I did a quick go around last week after the game of all the local shows. Trust me, we were mild compared to how giddy every single show in Chicago was after last week's Bears.
Power rank our shows, Peggy. Like, who is the giddiest? Who is the giddiest?
Do it, Peggy. Don't bullshit him. Do it.
All right, Sylvie, probably the giddiest, which is fine.
Sylvie's leading the ranking.
That's good. Probably Cap. Cap was probably number 2.
Okay.
He's got the Bears winning the Super Bowl now.
And
every week, like, it goes up. Like, they were 7 wins and then like 9, and now they're going to win the division, and then they're going to win the Super Bowl.
All right, who's next, Peg?
Well, I mean, how many other shows do we have?
Well, we've got
multiple shows.
We got Black and Abdallah. We got Pat the designer and the podcast team. We got all types.
No, I think that Pat and Black and Abdallah, I think that they are optimistically, like, in a good sense, not over the top. I don't think we have anyone. I don't think anyone's over the top, like, oh my God. Well, maybe Cap. But
you didn't see Miller's tweet after the first game. I was like,
what did Jeff say?
This is
there was probably some sarcasm in there.
No. I was all aboard, Carm. I've been ecstatic. And listen, if you want to put Sylvia above me, that's fine. I'm not, but I'm perfectly happy leading the parade too.
But aren't we all like, seriously? Aren't we all
Carmen? That's the whole point.
Excited?
Except for Yurko. Yurko wants to make sure that we're all grounded.
He's excited.
That's not true.
He's excited.
The one thing that I've been able to do is take a big sigh of relief and take a deep breath, knowing that this quarterback is definitely going to be better than Justin Fields. So that was a great, tremendous sigh of relief.
I'm leaving because I'm gonna go get something for you.
Go ahead. And now it's about the business of just watching him develop and continue to develop over and over. So I think that's a good thing. The best thing about today's episode, and I know you guys caught it, was the communication between the quarterback and the head coach and the quarterback and the offense coordinator.
Yeah.
What do you see? What do you see And then you heard them, and you heard the quarterbacks telling the coach what they see when they're coming up to the line of scrimmage. That's football porn right there, guys.
I said the same thing, Eric.
If they can go 50 minutes and give me that at every position, now you've got something. Now you got a Hard Knocks. But what do I got to get more? I got to get more the wives and daughters. I got to see more of that. I got to see girlfriends. I got to see this and that. But there's enough good stuff in there where I didn't fall asleep too early. I finally woke myself up, got myself a cup of coffee during the episode, and was happy to join you guys.
Drinking coffee at 9 o'clock.
I can do that.
Hard Knocks is slow paced, baby.
No, I said the same thing, Eric. It was like much more for football nerds. Like it was much more in our alley or up our wheelhouse, I guess.
Yeah.
In our wheelhouse, excuse me.
I mean, it's like classical music. It builds to a crescendo. This was more like the opening things of the classical music, where you're kind of establishing everybody within the orchestra.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, you're meandering through one story to the next story. The punter trying to get to Soldier Field. Oh boy, compelling
and rich.
Oh
Good
my
stuff,
God!
right
Can I get
there.
more of
Good
that,
stuff.
please?
Yeah.
Jesus.
That
How
got the
about-
most stage because he was thrilled to be driving in Chicago. I was like, "There's no way."
Praising the punter for good holds. Now we're heaping.
I mean, that's the point. So the great stuff you had in the episode was fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
cow.
Is unbelievable. Great. Why can't we have that with the defense backs coach saying, "Hey, what do we see? What did they come out at? What are we looking for? Blah blah blah." The defensive line gets no love whatsoever. They get the independent love here or there, but there's no interaction with the coach.
That's because the quarterback room is sexier. That's why, Eric. It's offense.
Well, there'll probably be a little love given to him after today. So probably next week's episode with a couple of kerfuffles that happened up there today, led by one Jervon Dexter, absolutely laying out Ian Wheeler. That was fun.
Nice fist
Yeah,
of
it
cups.
happened today.
I like that. I'm glad I came on board and everybody ran.
I'm gonna run too.
It was crazy. It was.
We were on like right at 9 o'clock. So
Cap was like,
I started the episode at 8:28.
Oh, okay. You're a little bit late.
Yeah, I didn't mind. 8:28 seemed like a good time to join it. I had some stuff. I had some fantasy football stuff. I was doing my best Ryan Poles impression, trying to trade McCaffrey and move up in my draft. And I've got very few takers. Everybody's kind of tentative.
Everybody's afraid of his hammy, right?
That's a danger. I got the number one pick in my league. I'm going Tyreek Hill, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoa, yeah, it's stretching, huh? You're stretching for a Tyreek Hill?
I am not going Christian McCaffrey. I am not risking it.
Why wouldn't you go Breece Hall then?
Breece Hall's an option. Breece Hall's not a bad option.
CeeDee Lamb's not in camp, but CeeDee Lamb is the consensus number one wide receiver.
Who are the number ones, Meller? If you're McCaffrey.
So McCaffrey, he's got the calf injury that he's being held out. Although they seem to be downplaying that. But what are they going to do, right? So do you feel comfortable rolling the dice on that?
No.
If not, then it's, as Yurko mentioned, if you want to stay running back, it's either Breece Hall or Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, Bijan.
Bijan's another option. I thought.
Bijan wasn't overly. Now, granted, maybe it was
Arthur
something
Smith.
with play calling, but Bijan wasn't overly impressive last year.
I don't know, man. Like he made some plays. The stats looked pretty good on a whole. He just didn't get any goal line carries, really.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe in the red zone he was being goofy. Arthur Smith was kind of being goofy with him, and it just didn't get the goal line or red zone opportunities. But
Zach Robinson comes from the McVay tree, and the one thing McVay's offenses always do is feature one running back. So I think it's a good spot for Bijan. But and then as Pat mentioned, Tyreek Hill, you can't go wrong. In a PPR format, I do like Tyreek over CeeDee Lamb just because of the contract stuff, Yerk. So I'm gonna bounce though, guys. Take it easy.
I'm leaving.
Hold on. Peggy left and said she was getting something for Yurko.
I know.
I don't know.
I went to look for my pom-poms. And
you have pom-poms?
You have
my
them?
daughter, yes, my daughter has been a cheerleader for the last couple of years. So I went to look for them and I couldn't find them. I thought I knew where they were. I was going to go get them so that I could have them out so that Yurko, who thinks I'm a cheerleader for Caleb Williams, you know where they're at? Oh, no, my daughter's going to go get them.
Only because you sent me the Kyle Brandt crap.
I thought it was
Kyle
funny.
Brain crap.
Yurko, I thought it was hysterical that he was so giddy. But
Yeah.
when I saw the other local stations,
Yeah.
how crazy! That's when I backed off and I said, "You can't possibly think that I'm being a cheerleader compared to some of the others." Holy cow!
True. You are much more moderate compared to the rest of Chicago. Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still get to bust your chops.
Yeah, well, fuck
and
you.
You know what? Hey, the pom-poms. Guys, the way they make pom-poms now, sorry, a little spittle. The way they make pom-poms now, they used to be the big bushy ones. Now they're just little ones.
Right.
They're barely even pom-poms. I don't even know what the H they are. They look like a toilet brush. Little toilet brushes now.
That was back in the 70s when they had the bushy.
Yeah. Now they're much more. Now they're just shaved.
Well, I'd like to let you know the 70s are back in. Just so
okay.
you know.
What, Peggy? How dare you?
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Peggy.
Racing strips are out.
No.
What is happening?
70s Bush is back.
Peggy, no, man. Come on. Now I'm leaving.
Hey,
Yeah.
come here.
I don't know. Those are pretty bushy there.
Be nice.
Thanks,
Be
Stella.
nice. Here we go. Here's from Stella.
Come on, Stella.
Right?
Yeah, there they are.
Williams?
I love
Caleb
them.
Williams. Caleb Williams. See,
Thumbs up. I see the thumbs up.
She's got her bear stuff on.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna say something to my daughter?
No, hey, good luck in school.
All right, I'm leaving.
Good night, boys.
Good job, Peggy.
Good luck in
See ya.
school. Takes her back to the days in grade school.
Oh yeah, trust me, I know. So bad. I know.
Oh, God.
Thank you.
What is
Thank you.
happening right now?
Yeah, I'd like to see an inside analysis on a struggling offensive line next week.
I know.
And also,
Yerk, did you think? I mean, we saw the sack that Nate Davis gave up.
Yeah, to Chris Jenkins.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw Caleb Williams' comments afterwards. He was like, "Oh, that was my fault. I held on to the ball too long."
Maybe so. It's good for the quarterback to take the blame. But if you notice, everybody on the offensive line was moving back, and you want to keep like one big wall, so you got help to the right and to the left of you. Nate Davis short set him. He short set him right on the line of scrimmage, kind of surprised him a little bit. But after he got surprised him, he got overwhelmed. And he got overwhelmed with a spin that was not the greatest spin in the world. He looked like he spun in the same place. And Nate Davis just kind of got knocked off of balance. And next thing you know, he almost fell into Caleb Williams' lap. And there was Chris Jenkins getting the first sack of his in the preseason, I guess. It's not an official sack, but talking about a guy that couldn't rush the passer at Michigan. And now he looked like a world beater against Nate Davis.
People think that Nate Davis had a terrible year last year. I came away. You thought he did not.
He didn't have a bad year. No.
And that's what I tell people all the time, that you would say after games, he's a solid player.
He's a solid veteran player. Solid veteran player that you could piece into any starting lineup around the NFL when he's interested. There's always going to be a caveat with Nate Davis. When he's interested, when he's excited to play, when I'll even give him the benefit of the doubt that when he's healthy. Okay, so say that he's not playing at 100% all the time, when he's healthy. But he's like anybody. When they're interested and they're in it and their mind is right, he could be a world beater. But when he's not there and he's only giving you about a 75% commitment, it's hard to play the game that way.
I think what's tough too is with Nate is, it's kind of last season is a lot of what we saw in that first preseason game. It's not him making a horrible play, but it is him, maybe making the initial play, but still allowing a pressure, making the initial play, but then getting beat by the counter like that. To me, that's what, and it's tough. I know that there's a continuity issue with Nate being inserted in there, but when you saw what you saw in week one with Matt Pryor, who I think all of us would say is a worse right guard than Nate Davis is.
He's a journeyman.
But the offensive line looked a lot more comfortable just because he's been in there. And then you see Nate get inserted back in. It's still your job. Don't worry about it. Go out there and play because you're making $10 million a year. And the offensive line starts to have that up and down play. That's where a lot of the question marks come in.
But he's the guy that controls that.
Yes, 100%.
Nate Davis is the guy that controls that. Everybody else on his team is at the mercy of Nate Davis. And it should never be that way. But now it is. After this year, I don't think it's going to be that way.
No.
Yeah.
I think
you got to survive one more year with Nate Davis, whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
right.
You heard from Ryan Poles on who was he just on with? Hogan Johns. He was talking with them, and he sent a similar message to what Matt Eberflus sent. Listen, injury isn't going to save you. At a certain point, I understand what you went through last season. I understand the life changes that have happened to you, but it's either put up or shut up time. You got to play. And the fact that the organization is putting that out tells you that it's not just the fans that are at their wits end with it. It is the guys who are in the front of it. Ryan Poles got to be looking at this like, I gave you a chance when everybody said you don't practice, and then you showed up, and the first thing you did was not practice. You know what I mean? So I think that it's like you said, Yerk, him not being in there for practice, him not being in there to build that continuity with anybody else on the offensive line. You saw the difference in that second game, and it is him basically holding the O-line by the balls and saying, whatever I do, we do.
Yeah.
He's got to play. Hey, now would be a good time for us to thank our friends at Dr. Pepper because, come here. All right. Because we
get in there.
I know, Stella, come on. It's doing a commercial. It's her favorite. Come here. All you have to do is come here and say that this is your favorite.
Give us the model turn.
Look, this is her favorite. Dr. Pepper, we cannot even keep enough of it in our household because the teens love it. So thank you, Dr. Pepper, for sponsoring our post-game reaction to Hard Knocks because we love you in our household. Thank you.
The teens can't get enough of Dr. Pepper. Shout out to that.
Yeah,
it's the truth.
Yep.
It's the truth, you guys.
I'm a pepper. You're a pepper. She's a pepper. He's a pepper.
You remember that?
Be a pepper to be a pepper. Drink Dr.
Ooh,
Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Remember that? Yeah.
Be a pepper. Ooh, Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, but I thought it was somewhat entertaining. I like the football stuff, the hardcore football stuff, all the ancillary BS. I don't like it all.
It feels like they're setting up to do more football.
I hope so.
Throughout the next 2 episodes. But yeah, I've been with you. And it is it's so dialed down.
Show 5 is going to be cut downs. Hey, show 5 is going to be cut downs.
Yeah.
Show 4 is going to be the last of the football. And then show 5 is going to be the sad day where they tell people to go home.
Yeah. No,
well, Yurko, Flu said to you guys yesterday, and Ryan Poles said it this week as well, that this is the deepest the roster has been, and it's going to be tough. We may actually be surprised at some cuts.
Oh, for
sure. We may actually be surprised at some of their cuts.
I mean, listen, Ian Wheeler's been a good player. He probably won't make the team.
He's going to be practice squad.
Daniel Hardy's been a good player. He probably won't make the team. Like there's guys that you've seen show out in preseason that probably will not make
I don't think
team.
Those guys, Pat, are the ones that are going to be the surprises. I think someone like
You're talking about like Dominic Robinson,
Khalil Herbert, Velus Jones. I think those are the guys that they're not invested in those.
I'm gonna be real with you. I would be more
2 years ago.
I would be more surprised if Velus Jones isn't cut than if he is, because what has he shown you? I would be more if Velus Jones and Dominique Robinson make this team, it tells you one thing. Ryan Poles has a blind spot for guys he's brought in.
Right. And Herbert, if he's unemployed from the Bears, he'll be 35 seconds, he'll be unemployed. Somebody will
100%.
You're exactly right.
He'll be. It's either going to be Khalil Herbert or Ian Wheeler. Either one of them will be wearing a Dallas Cowboys jersey 25 seconds after they're cut from the team.
Well, Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert is in a contract year. This is his 4th year. The contract runs out. Do they want to try to get something for him? You know what, Yerk, you know better. Yeah. No one trades for running backs.
No, nobody's going to trade for anybody at the end.
No,
nobody's trading for anybody. Everybody's got to become free, and then they hit the market. They sign some other places, and then the teams get their practice squads together. That's what they end up doing. Defensive secondary. There's going to be some quality players cut. I don't think there's going to be surprises, But there's some quality guys going to be hitting the street in the defensive secondary for the Bears.
Secondary is deeper than linebacker, which typically
they're
pretty good at linebacker. Yerk, I think that they have more defensive secondary players than they do have backup linebackers. And I agree with you. Those guys have gotten a ton of playing time the last year. It'll be interesting. Yeah, those guys will all get jobs.
For sure. For sure. All right, guys. I'm going to get up out of here. I appreciate y'all.
All right, guys.
It was fun.
There's only 3 of us left.
Let's call it a night.
Lock and
Thank you all for joining us. Thank you so much. Thank you to Dr. Pepper. We love you guys. Enjoy Hard Knocks. Stay tuned to ESPN 1000 throughout the week for your latest on Chicago Bears news. Good night, everybody.